Hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer, and welcome to the Hear Her Hands Knitting Podcast. So, I am a deaf crocheter, knitter, sewist, and quilter located in Baltimore, Maryland, with my partner and 2 black cats and 3 miniature schnauzers. So, here on my knitting podcast, mostly you'll hear about my cozy knitting hobbies, as well as other cozy crafts like quilting, crochet, sewing, dyeing. I am and have always been a very creative person, and I find a lot of joy in making things. So I'm just really excited to get to share those things with you and share my progress over the week, each week, usually. And I will share a podcast that explains what I've done and what sort of things I've made progress on, and what sort of new things I've acquired or started in the last week. So if that sounds something you would enjoy, please feel free to grab something cozy to drink, maybe a knitting project, a comfy blanket, and sit back and we can talk about all the things I've been doing this past week. Let's get started. So first, I want to address the wall hanging elephant in the room. So I completed my first ever machine quilted wall hanging over the last week, and I will talk more about that, like the specifics on that, and share the link to the video of that at the end of the podcast in case you're only here for the knitting and you're not interested in quilting or sewing. So if that's okay. So as I've mentioned before, I'm kind of a slow knitter, and I have been working on the Fix It Fall Knit Along, which is run by Allie Makes Everything, and I have 3 Fix It projects, but one of them I kind of put on the back burner because it's a summer project, and we have definitely headed into fall and winter here in Maryland, and it is cold. So my tank top will probably not be getting anywhere. So I figured I will work on that later. But for Fix It Fall, I had 2 projects I wanted to fix, and one of them is my first finished object, finished for a second time, and that is the Beachside mock cable cardigan by Knits by Lillian or Lillian Olson. So this mock cable cardigan is an all over mock cable lace pattern, which when I look at this, I am just so amazed that I did this, and it's so pretty. So what I needed to fix was, as I've shared before, the button band was really tight and it was pulling up on the bottom of the cardigan, so it was doing this curve thing. So what I did to fix that was, as a sewist, by default, it I can't make it work. I just do it separate. So I took the button band off and I reknit the whole thing flat. So I counted how many stitches I had all the way around what is this, edge of the cardigan. Yes, hi, if you want to sit with me. So I counted how many stitches I had all the way around the edge of the cardigan, and then I did a long tail cast on. So I cast on that many stitches to start the 2x2 knit button band. Hey, can you not sit down, please? Hey, you're gonna sit. Thank you, sit. Hi. So to start the 2x2 with knit button band, please forgive the cat. Sit down, bud. Hey, you sit. Hi. You sit. Yeah, sit. Okay. All right. So in order to do that, I knit the whole 2x2 ribbed button band flat, and I did the 3-stitch buttonhole that we had figured out works best for this pattern, and then I sewed the button band on separately, and I used what's known as an invisible seam, which is what a lot of sewers will use, like when you're trying to close up um, an external seam, or like something that you're using when you've like had to bag out a garment, or if you make a pillow and you have to have a little piece of the pillow open so you can stuff the pillow, and then you sew that we often use an invisible seam to do that. And so I did an invisible seam on my button band, and then I finally found some slightly bigger abalone buttons, abalone buttons. These are these are the 20mm buttons. So these buttons do fit in the buttonhole. And I used the tutorial on Pearl Soho for how to sew these buttons on so there's enough space to like put the button into the buttonhole. Yes. So after all of that, the Makibo cardigan, I'm counting it on my needles, even at the point when it was finished. So it was on my needle for a total of 98 days, and now it is done, finally. Are you going? You mind? You mind? Can I do my video? Can you maybe settle so I can do my video? The next fix-it project I had on my needles was my Stubblefield sweater by Yarn Over Everything. So this sweater is a very big boxy sweater with the broken rib stitch. So this sweater I did finish, but I only finished one sleeve and I forgot what I did, so I had to start over. And I figured the best practice for me to get the sleeves the same is to knit them two at a time. So I have both my sleeves going. And this is what I have on both sleeves. So this sweater I have so far knit both decrease section A and B for the sleeves one time. And then there's, I think I have to continue decrease section B or something until it's long enough, and then you do the same one by one with the cuff. So I have a ways to go, but the way I'm making this work is I'm just doing like a decrease section at a time so that I don't get confused. If I do like decrease section on one sleeve and then on the other. So that is my Stubblefield sweater by Yarn Over Everything. And I am knitting this in Lion Brand Coboo in the color Admiral. And I have knit 4 balls, or I have 4 balls, these other two balls. And I'm hoping I have enough, but we'll see. And I'm also knitting this in size 1. So this pattern has been on my needles for a total of 97 days. Next is my newest whip that I haven't even brought on the podcast at all, or haven't even shared. So this is new, like in the last 2 weeks. So this pattern, when I did my Fix It or Frog It episode, I had this yarn was in my Poet Shawl by Sorry Nordland, and it was just a lot of moss stitch still at that point. And so I originally thought I was going to use this yarn, which is Premier Basic Anti-Pilling, I believe, in white. I thought I was going to use this to knit a scarf version of the Poet Shawl, just in the lace pattern so that I could understand the lace pattern before I tried to knit the Poet pullover again. So this is like a thing that I do for myself to learn a pattern that I think may be really complicated for me to learn in a sweater if I knit it in a flat first, especially if I can knit it flat in like a shawl or a scarf or a, I don't know, table runner or something like that. So over during this month of like end of October, beginning of November, my family has been dealing with some health emergencies, and we've just had a lot of things going on, and it's just been a lot to handle. And one of my main like hyper focuses when I'm really stressed is I will knit something comforting, hopefully, for the person that I'm thinking of or for myself or whatever. So I decided that since I want to knit the pressed flowers cardigan, I was going to work on the free pattern, which is the pressed flowers kerchief first, so I would get a better idea of how the pressed flowers pattern works before I tried to tackle something as big as a cardigan. So this is the pressed flowers kerchief pattern, and I'm knitting it in one strand of my Premier anti-pilling, Premier Basic anti-pilling acrylic, and then also in one strand of the Lion brand acrylic blue, royal blue yarn. So I think it's, no, it's not Super Savers, whatever the acrylic is. So this is that pressed flowers pattern, and I'm knitting it bigger. Basically, I'm just continuing the pattern increases until it's shawl size for me, and then I will do the finishing, just not the count of the whatever's listed on the kerchief pattern. But I'll link that. But it is a free pattern, and so this like pressed flowers pattern in a kerchief or a shawl is really beautiful. And since it's a free pattern, this is a good way for me to start off learning how to do the pressed flowers, and how to like, I don't know, how to understand the pattern flat before I attempt to also knit it. I mean, I think it's still flat as a cardigan, but also knit it in a much more complicated way in the cardigan with a lot more flowers. So yeah, so I've been knitting this since the beginning of November, like maybe the 2nd, I'm not sure. And this has been my main focus. Like, I still managed to get stuff done on my other patterns, but this has definitely been what I've been working on. And it's for a person whose favorite colors are blue, whose like house decor colors are mostly blue and white, and I'm hoping that this will be something they love. So actually, to clarify, the pressed flowers kerchief I started on November 3rd, so it has been on my needles for 12 days. Now we can go on to more older WIP that I haven't really touched at all this week, so not much interesting to show as far as progress, and I'll tell you the timestamp when the end of this is over. So next is my next newest WIP. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. This is my next newest WIP. So I have been working on the Mountains and Seas test for Sarah Handmakes, which is a oversized, basically an oversized V-neck raglan with, I believe it has a split hem. So this is coming along really well. It's coming along pretty quickly as well. So I have added on my neckband for this pattern. So currently, I did this yesterday. I think it might be a little shorter than the pattern. I did measure. I'm really bad at measuring. So I will have to see if it works at all. I might have to redo it. But I just did the neckband only in the Patons Grace, which is a cotton, because I thought that it would be nice for me as someone who stitches pretty easily to have this neckband and not a mohair. So I think that actually kind of looks cool. This is, and honestly, I've made a lot of progress. Like, we're getting there, especially now that it's all in the round and I'm just knitting around and around and around. So this sweater, I'm working in Patons Grace, which is a cotton yarn in the color navy, and then I am using, I have several balls of this, it's not taking the mohair problem here. Everything gets stuck to the mohair. Alright. I am also knitting it in this mohair, which is something I thrifted it. And I know it's Angora and wool, and I know the colors are like an orange and a purple and a teal. And honestly, it's really pretty by itself. But I think it's turning out really cool when it's with this navy. It's toning it down, which is good as a soft summer. So yeah, so this is my Mountains and Seas, and it has been on my needles for 29 days. And then the other project that I have had on my needles for quite a while and have not made any progress with, unfortunately, is my Salty Days. So I am knitting my Salty Days sweater as part of the knit along by Morgan Unraveled and Hayley Space. And so this pattern is a sweater with an all over lace and cable and squibbed by Katova Kika, who is Veronica Lindbergh. And I am knitting this pattern in Lion Brand Superwash Merino in the color Quail, which is this really pretty pale, light, dusty, gray, purpley color. And I have completed, and I had last week as well, I have completed all the way to the bottom of the Pico lace after chart C. And so next, I believe, is more lots of the 2x1 knit with pattern, and I think, and remembering what happened when I did this part, it's really painful on my hand, kind of dreading it, so I've been putting it off a bit. But that is the next thing I need to do. I need to knit lots of ribbing, or not ribbing, with pattern. I don't know, more of this. But it is really pretty, and I think it will be really comfy and cozy, especially now as it's already dropped down into the 40s here in Baltimore. But yeah, I haven't made any progress on my Salty Days, but I think it's gorgeous. So as soon as I finish my other fix-it project, I am going to focus on this a bit more. So those are my 4 main projects. Also, Salty Days was on my needles for 70 days. So I have 2 crochet projects that I'm just going to mention and not talk about. I have the Sunburst special edition Sunburst pillow crochet pattern, which I have not added any more squares to this week. And I have the temperature blanket crochet pattern that I am making the summer fade hexy blanket pattern in crochet as well. I have not done any work on that one either, but I mean, I am still pleased with how much work I have done, and I think that if I continue doing a couple squares a week, I will be able to complete the blanket sometime next year. We'll see, I guess. All right. Okay, so this is a little more complicated, so I will definitely be referring to my notes. But I have a pile of acquisitions to share with you. So, I've said before, I'm located in Baltimore. I am deaf, and two big things of my community are we are very keyed in. It's very important for us as a community, especially in the deaf community, to support each other. Now, has nothing to do with the deaf community, but the deaf community has a large population in Baltimore, or in Maryland at least, between the Maryland School of the Deaf and between Gallaudet and between our other large population of people who are able to work for the federal government because of government quota requirements. So, because of disability protections, which who knows how those will work in the coming years. But for the moment, we have a large population here. And because of that, and because I'm in Baltimore, I have learned and I believe that it's very important to support local makers and local businesses. Just Baltimore is such a small city. Like, we call it Smaltimore for a reason, right? Like, it is very common for me to run into people I know just out in the world doing regular things. Like, I used to be a yoga teacher out in the community before COVID, and I would run into my students when I was at a coffee shop or out running or whatever, make a tie. And because you're a yoga teacher, it's usually such a big class population because it takes me a long time to get to know people as I'm deaf. I would often struggle to place faces and names, but I still think it's very important that we look within our own communities and support each other within our own communities. So, bless you. All that to say, I didn't start knitting until 2022. And because of that, I didn't know that we had a few local yarn shops in Baltimore. I believe there's 2 or 3. But the one that when I found her, I just fell in love with was Neighborhood Fiber Co. And unfortunately, ow! Hey, don't bite me. No. All right, without rambling to say, yeah, so I fell in love with Neighborhood Fiber Co. when I came across her online fairly recently, like just this year. And I never had the opportunity to make it out to her local space when it was open, but recently she had to close her shop, which was very sad. But as a Baltimorean, I still wanted to support her. So when I saw her colorway that she made for Rhinebeck, I was very excited to get that and support her in her continued yarn dyeing. So when she came back from Rhinebeck, that one went up on the site, and I was excited to get it. And then also, she ended up having a sale at that point because she had closed the brick and mortar, and she's going to be online for a bit now. And so that very much motivated me to get local yarns that supported my local dyer and also were like inspired by my local neighborhood. So to start off, I apologize. We got her special Rhinebeck colorway, which I'm going to read this because oh boy. So this Rhinebeck colorway is I got this first because I wanted to support Neighborhood Fiber Co.'s goal of raising money for devastated communities in Asheville and all over the Blue Ridge Mountains after the hurricanes. So I happily bought what I hope is a sweater quantity of this, which is called Blue Ridge and Valley. And it is a combination of yarns to represent the Blue Ridge Mountains, which is where Asheville is located, and the Ridge and Valley Mountains where Rhinebeck can be found. So this is for fundraising to the Blue Ridge, but also it's inspired by Rhinebeck. So both of these ranges are part of the greater Appalachian, oh my god, please forgive me, Appalachian mountain range. So I thought that that was the perfect name to symbolize the link between these communities through the geography and care for each other. Just as we were getting ready to develop a special color for this year's New York Sheep and Wool Festival, Hurricane Helene made landfall and caused historic destruction to communities in the southern Appalachian region. My mother is a resident of such a community in western North Carolina, and she and her husband are safe, thankfully, and were not as deeply affected by the damage. But it has been heartbreaking to see the area devastated by the storm. The proceeds from this yarn have gone to Blood of Asheville. So that's from the creator's own words on her Facebook page. My hopes is to use these skeins, personally my hopes, is to use these skeins to knit up an ombre cardigan by Tanis Fiber Arts. The sweater is knit in one piece from the top down, and the button band is knit consecutively. It's knit at the same time as the body, so there's minimal finishing work required. And this cardigan comes in sizes from 32 to 68 inches, with anywhere from 1 to 9 inches of positive ease. This pattern I bought on Ravelry for $9.50. So, to talk a little bit more about the Blue Ridge and Valley colorway. So this skein, so I got 5 skeins of this one, which is Studio Sock, which is 100% organic merino at 400 yards. So this one is the base color that I'm going to use for that pattern, the ombre cardigan. I also got 3 skeins of the Loft, which is a 70% mohair, 30% silk, which is 59 yards of skein. So I don't know if this is enough for the whole cardigan. What I may end up doing is a striping effect. So I will do like stripes on and off of like held with the mohair and not held with the mohair to make it more bottled. The word I want. Ombre. I don't know what the word I want is. It's more like a different appearance in the yarn. Also, that one's a little bit more speckly, and this one is a little bit more like, I don't know if it's striped, but this is less speckled. And I think that's just the nature of the kind of yarn it is. So I think it'll be really pretty to put those whole two together in that pattern. And then also luxury lace. I bought, whoops, sorry guys. I bought 5 skeins of this, which is Observatory Circle, which this one I'm also going to use to make probably a sweater or a cardigan. And this color is also the Capital Luxury Lace, which is 550. This is, oh wait, no, this is Capital Luxury Lace, so this is 550 yards, which is 80% merino and 10% cashmere. Oh my goodness, soft. I can't wait to wear this. But this color, I think, is one of my, so I am not a plain soft summer, I am what's called a, what is it? Dark? No, I'm a deep stuff somewhere. So this like cranberry color is one of my best colors, and I think this will be a lovely like sweater or cardigan to wear over things in the winter. And I also bought the Capital Luxury lace in heavy colorways specifically to represent the neighborhoods around where I live. So I live in Baltimore. I live near these neighborhoods. My neighborhood is not one that she has yet dyed a colorway for, which is fine. So I thought these were cool, and also these are colors I really like this blue gray is so pretty. So this is Broadway Market, which is it was an old marketplace in the middle of South Point that was renovated recently into this marketplace now. And the new marketplace has been painted. It was originally a brick building, and now it's like a dark, mostly partially black building. But it has been completely renovated, and now there are restaurants and a couple of shops, and I believe like a florist in there. But it has just completely revitalized that particular space, which is cool. So this is the Broadway Market colorway. This is also a Capital Luxury lace, which is the same as the red one. I love this. And then I also got Capital Luxury lace in Butcher's Hill, which is a neighborhood to the west, I believe. No, a neighborhood to the east of Broadway Market. I am directionally challenged. So this neighborhood, named Butcher's Hill because it was where a lot of the butcher shops were located. A lot of the corner butcher shops. I actually live a couple blocks from a house that was a butcher shop, and when it was for sale, it was so interesting because you could see the butcher's shop area in the listing, and it had this fully tiled space, I guess, and I'm sure it was for preparation, and it was really interesting, but also kind of creepy. So this is for Butcher's Hill. Also, I'm sure like some of why this colorway is the way it is. Butcher's Hill has a lot of the fully brick row houses, and so this is like a brick and a pink. I would love to know the story behind how she came up with this colorway, but this is what I have. And then on the other side of the neighborhood, so continuing east all the way across the park, is Highland Town. And so this colorway is for Highland Town, and this is like, honestly, this is one of my favorite colors in the world. I love this like teal. I mean, you've seen what I did. I knit a lot of things in this teal color. So this is a teal for Highland Town. I also don't know why she chose teal for Highland Town, but this color is beautiful, and it's also in the Capital Luxury lace. And I think what would be fun for me is I'm gonna do a little research into the neighborhoods and like see if I come up with reasons why these colors were the colors she chose. But yeah, so I have these three, and I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with them, but I'm thinking some sort of colorwork sweater, maybe. I don't know. With obviously like a solid plain base color to like help them pop. I don't know though. Do you have any ideas what you would do with 550 times 3? 1,500 yards of 3 different colors? Let me know. But yeah, so those are my not 3 many. I can't even give you numbers at this point. Those are my many acquisitions this week, and I highly recommend to check out Neighborhood Fiber Co. on Instagram. Their shop is on a hiatus right now because they have a lot of orders that they are trying to fill as a result of their sale. But I believe they will be back up as an online shop, and so they definitely could use your support, and also our city could use your support, right? Like Baltimore, Maryland is a small. Yeah. Anyway, our city could use your support. We'd love, like, it's very important to us to support local small creators. So it was important for me to support Neighborhood Fiber Co. And also, it's very exciting for me to use locally dyed yarn that I bought myself to make a couple of sweaters this winter, especially since it's starting to get cold already. All right, so that is all the knitting I have done so far this week. I have done a new project. I have come a long way on the test knit. I have done a decent amount of fixing for one of my Fix It Fall projects. I have completed the other Fix It Fall project, and I have not touched my salty days or any crochet, which is unfortunate. But the other thing I did this week, or last weekend, honestly, was I worked on this. So if you're not interested in learning about my attempt at, I don't know, I guess it's more than attempt, my attempt at quilting, machine quilting a wall panel, you are welcome to go or jump to the end for my little outro. But for this panel, this is the Timeless Treasures Felix. The Timeless Treasures Aurora 24-inch wall panel, which I machine quilted. So I made the quilt sandwich with this, and then a piece of bamboo batting, and then the backing is Timeless Treasures Northern Lights Aurora Sky Night quilting fabric. That's this one. And I definitely had some was going on with my bobbin thread. So I have some spots there that could be re-quilted, but mostly can't see the back. So I started my darning foot, and I was really struggling with that. It's like in the middle section. And I switched to my regular sewing foot and used that to do the wavy quilt lines. And then I used my machine to sew the binding on the front of the quilt, and then I hand sewed the binding onto the back of the quilt. So I have this purple cotton bias binding. And that is my completed Northern Lights wall hanging, which I will be hanging up in here for a while, probably. So that was a fun little project for me. I have a link to a video that I made of my work while I was making that, kind of a vlog, more of a like time lapse. But I don't think machine quilting will be something that I end up doing a lot of. I found it it was more frustrating than long arm quilting. Like, honestly, I would probably be a lot happier if I could just take my things to a long arm quilt machine and either long arm quilt them myself or pay someone else to do that. Like, similarly to the people like my mother-in-law is a quilter as well, and similarly to her, my preference of quilting is I really enjoy the piecing part of quilting. I like the creativity that it involves and like color matching and making up designs and like sewing that together. But I don't really enjoy the quilting part of it. And my own mother is a quilter and she hand quilts her quilts, and I really don't enjoy that. I am happy to just hand sew on the binding, and that is plenty enough for me. So we're building something here, and I'm so happy to have you here with me because all the pieces in our little online community of creatives matter, and we need each other, we support each other, to learn from each other, to help each other in the years that are coming. So I hope you enjoyed spending this time with me. I hope you got some of your own projects, maybe knitting, crocheting, or sewing, done as well. And I would love to hear which of these projects you thought was interesting, which one you might attempt yourself, or if you looked at Neighborhood Fiber Co.'s Instagram and saw anything on there that you loved. I've always loved talking to you about what you're knitting, what you're working on, whatever it is you're doing. So until then, I'm Jennifer. You can find me here or on Instagram under HearHerHands. If you enjoy your stay, as usual, please give us a like or subscribe to my channel. Leave us a comment to let us know what you thought or what you enjoyed. Yeah. Ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload again, because I still haven't figured out a good system or schedule for myself. And I hope you take care. Be well. Love on those you love. Make sure to just do your best with the time you're given, right? So, hope I'll see you soon. Bye.